Derek Zeller and Brandon Wahl are seniors here at Louisville High School who've truly earned their keep on the Leopards boys basketball team. From the time that they were little kids to now as seniors, they almost have an unspoken connection when on the floor together. Even their head coach Tom Siegfried notices it. These are the young men known as DZ and B. Wahl, and this is Behind the Athlete. These two seniors have very contrasting styles. Wahl is finesse and has a beautiful jumper. He tells us how the J has become a work of art.
Just a lot of work over the summer. Coach Sig sets up great times to come in here over the summer mornings and just put a lot of shots up on these guns and just hope it comes out in the game.
Zeller, on the other hand, he's a scrapper, and well, he credits his head ball coach.
Just a lot of demanding from Sig. I didn't start off as much as that physical player, but over the years I've learned to develop it, and it's just a toughness that you have to have, especially in high school ball, that especially if you want to play college, it's got to translate over. So I think he's doing it for me especially, and it's also helped the team a ton.
Coach Sig really has been blessed for the Leopards. From Drew Noble to Blake Hoover to Jake Pukas and Chris Liberatore, he now has a foundation, and he describes what each Wahl and Zeller bring to that. First with Wahl.
He's been that guy that can stand around the arc and shoot, and then this year he's added a little bit off the dribble, but he's a very smooth player. I think that's the word that I would use most with him. Just you get to the end of the game many times we're like, man, he had 15, he had 18, you don't really notice he's doing it, but he does what he does and helps the team win.
Then there's Zeller.
Derek has done it from day one. Derek's a guy that dressed as a freshman, started getting minutes as a sophomore, and he's had numerous different roles at Louisville. He was that kind of 7, 8, 9 guy as he's coming through. Last year he developed into one of our main players, and then this year obviously one of our senior leaders. But Derek was a point guard in middle school, came up here and was kind of a wing, and now we're using him kind of as a 4. So he's multi-dimensional. He can do a lot of things for the team, and on any given night he might bring the ball up or he might go down and post. So he's kind of a Chris Liberatore type. And that brings us a lot of different types of things we can do with the ball when he's in the game.
Now, one big part of their senior year is that it's the last in the MBC for Louisville. Wahl explains what stings most about it.
Just the competition level that we've been playing at, and it is to move on and not be in a league anymore and not be able to compete for that league title. It just, after that, I feel for these guys. So we want to get one more before we move on.
Zeller kind of elaborates on his fellow seniors' feelings.
The fact that all these guys, the guys that are behind us, grew up playing these other NBC players, and the fact that they don't get to play them the way we did and play those rivalries, those big games, it's just a shame for them.
And then there's Sig, who sums it all up for everyone.
It's been a great run. We have 8 championships now and have the most in the NBC, and we really have enjoyed the competition. There's been some really good programs through the years, and you think back to some of the Marlington teams. The Alliance has had a great run. Canton South was always a great program. The 20-0 Carrollton team, and it's just a shame that we're not going to be part of that anymore. I think it was a great fit for the size of the communities and a lot of good competition. You have a Minerva coming up right now with Sean Green doing some great things, and I'm interested to see how that plays out as well. So for the kids, we want to give it one last shot and see if we can get one more NBC championship before we leave, and hopefully wherever we end up, we'll have some of those same types of relationships.
The last thing that stood out the most about these guys in practice was the unspoken connection they had on the floor. DZ thinks that it starts with the friendships built over the years, playing in particular with your best friends.
It's amazing. It's a shame when you see some of them go, but the ones that stick around, it's special. And the bond you build, I mean, it's like I know where he is all the time. He knows where I am. And when we're on. I feel like we're unbeatable.
According to Wahl, these two did ball on the playground, but they kind of waited to do it.
Not till about, 6th or 7th grade maybe? Then moving on to 8th grade, and then obviously in through the high school years. So kind of just grew as a pair, and it's kind of just worked out for us.
And unfortunately, Sig doesn't have a nickname for him.
I don't. And I think we're going to have to develop one. But right now, I'd have to really think hard. Obviously, Derek's the multi-dimensional guy, and Brandon's our shooter. And other than that, I guess those are kind of boring. But we'll have to develop one as the year goes on.
Wahl, Zeller, and Siegfried are all still searching for that nickname. And they really decided that peanut butter and jelly didn't make sense because that's LeBron James and D. Wade for the Cavaliers. You know, at most schools, it's just one senior that stands out in his final year. But this year at Louisville, it's two that allow each other to be better each and every time out. For WHBC Sports, I'm Jon Bozeka.